Everything you say sounds like a lie. I'm being honest.
Yeah, because you haven't done any research into these debates.
Honestly, this all sounds like a cope. You don't have much proof. And I don't know. I just don't have much reason to believe you.
So anything that I bring up in terms of evidence to indicate that Donald Trump has done something wrong, you just specifically write off as like I'm just trying to attack Donald Trump, which is just evidence that you're in a cult.
I simply have more knowledge than you.
You think you have more knowledge than me? How many branches of government are there?
Four. Three, stop, no!
What do you mean by redundant?
Um, Not very smart.
What's false about that?
You have yet to prove it.
He was held civilly liable for that's been proven in a civil court.
Can you spell it? Her name.
E. Jean Carroll?
Let's see.
Are you asking if I can spell
And
her
you said,
name?
and you said civilly liable.
Yes,
Civilly meaning.
in a civil court. Liable in
So
a
it's not a
civil
real.
court.
So it's not a real. So it's not a real court.
A civil court is a real court. Wow, this guy's brain is functioning like beyond the caliber of any other person I've ever talked to.
Dude, Parker, I know you're mad because you're getting squashed, but come on, man.
I'm getting
No, no need
squashed.
to resort. No need to
That
resort
is,
to ad
I'm
hominems.
sorry, but that's embarrassing that you think I'm getting squashed right now. Dude, I'm using probably about 0.5% of my brain capacity currently, and it's still too much for you, bro.
I promise you, it's not. I'm
Then,
just asking questions because everything you say sounds like a lie. I'm being honest.
yeah, because you haven't done any research into these debates.
Have you told the truth once this live?
Yes. Have you? Can you tell me one lie I've engaged in?
I just told you.
What?
Where is your proof?
I asked what lie. What's a lie?
Something that's not true.
Okay, what did I say that's not true?
That Trump woman.
He was held civilly liable for
Dude,
well.
you have yet to tell me what that means.
Do you know what a civil court is?
No, not really.
Maybe you should look into what a civil court is. Maybe that'd be pretty important. But civil courts, have you? Do you know what courts deal with like defamation?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a civil court. Sometimes civil courts can deal with like claims like right if it is the case that the statute of limitations for criminal courts has been exceeded. Statute of limitations, especially when it is applicable to uh, claims, is like incredibly ridiculous, as it is the case that many of victims take decades to come out about the fact that they were right, and that's not evidence or reason to believe that didn't happen to them. It's actually expected to be the case that someone has been victimized in plenty of circumstances because that's what happens with most victims.
Brother, I'm looking at it and it says civil courts require less proof.
That's true. They do have a lower basis of standard of evidence comparative to
So how can I trust this?
because it is the case that it still meets the standard of evidence that we would require in order to believe it. Because it is the case that there was a unanimous decision from a jury. Because it is the case that there was multiple victims who specifically came out and spoke about the fact that they were. Because it is the case that Donald Trump said that he wouldn't have because she's quote unquote not his type, but then in a deposition mistook her with his ex-wife, right? Indicating either they're both his type or both not his type. So he would have either way. We could reference specifically how there were multiple friends that she specifically told at that time that she was indicating that this was indicative of that it happened decades prior to the point in which Donald Trump was even running for president in the very first place. We can reference the psychologist that specifically verified the trauma that she went through. We can reference specifically how Donald Trump could have given up his DNA to prove specifically that he wasn't at the scene of the crime because he claimed that he never met her,
Wait,
but
no,
he
I
didn't
know
give up
this one.
his
I
DNA
actually know
after
this one.
multiple years, right? Go ahead.
No, I know this one.
Go ahead.
He offered to give up his DNA, and the court said no.
That was after the multiple year long deadline that he had specifically to give up his DNA. If you turn in your homework after the point in which you turned it in and the teacher doesn't grade it, would you be up in
They give me
arms?
like half credit
Would you be up in arms
for half credit.
if they didn't grade it?
I mean, not really.
Okay, because it makes sense, right? Because they gave you a deadline. So if you don't understand how deadlines work, then you might think that. But given that we understand how deadlines work, we understand that Donald Trump was explicitly just trying to make the court process take longer, and he knew that they wouldn't accept the claims or the evidence, specifically because it is the case that they already claimed they were not accepting any more evidence.
All right. But listen, Parker, can you give me any other reason besides attacking Donald Trump? Because honestly, this all sounds like a cope. You don't have much proof. And I don't know. I just don't have much reason to believe you, if I'm being completely honest.
So anything that I bring up in terms of evidence to indicate that Donald Trump has done something wrong, you just specifically write off as like I'm just trying to attack Donald Trump, which is just evidence that you're in a cult. You don't require you will literally support Donald Trump regardless of what he does. I could provide you evidence specifically he did this and you still wouldn't believe it. Like here for example, would you believe that he did it if it was a criminal court that found him responsible?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you accept his felonies?
Yeah.
You do? You do accept the fact that he has 34 felonies?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want criminals to be president?
Only if they're good presidents.
Okay. Do you think criminals should be allowed to legally immigrate into the country?
Um, no, not really. They don't live here.
No. Okay. If criminals shouldn't be allowed to legally immigrate to the country, why should they be allowed to be president?
So should we deport all criminals?
If they are specifically committed a bad crime or a violent crime and they're undocumented.
There's no proof that he committed these crimes
Yes, there is.
that you're claiming.
I've already explained the evidence to you, but you didn't listen. Can you name one piece of evidence I referred to?
No. And wait, I actually have good reason because you spout a bunch of nonsense at once and expect me to remember it. I'm get like
Yeah, I'm sorry. I shouldn't assume that your brain functions properly. My bad.
Parker, you and these ad hominems, man.
I'm
Like
not.
you just can't get enough of them.
I'm not engaging in an ad hominem. I'm just describing reality.
It is an ad
It's just a
hominem.
descriptive statement.
You have to engage in personal attacks and winning a debate. That's crazy.
I'm not saying you're wrong because of this. It's just a descriptive statement.
I don't think it describes me very well, Parker.
Why so?
Because simply I simply have more knowledge than you.
You think you have more knowledge than me? Can I ask you a question?
In regards to certain topics, yes.
What topics?
Can we proceed with the debate?
No, tell me what specific topics.
Why are you running?
I just asked you what specific topics are you more knowledgeable than me about?
And I want to proceed with the debate.
That would be responding to me then.
What topics? I'd say like probably like Trump.
Trump?
Yeah.
You think you know more than me about politics? Okay.
Just Trump in specific.
Can you name 3 of Donald Trump's policies that he influenced to get passed?
Let me think. 3 Trump policies that he influenced to get passed,
Yeah,
or that have already passed.
that he influenced to get passed.
Um, what was that thing to make the COVID vaccine go faster? Like something warp speed? That was a policy.
I'll give you one, Operation Warp Speed.
See? Hey, Parker. Parker, you're actually getting cooked. Um, what else? Immigration.
Not a policy.
Dude, what? You
That
want the exact policy?
yeah.
Dude, come on.
Dude, he knows so much more than me. He
Wait,
seriously
I have to
knows.
think.
Yep. Keep thinking.
No, there is literally one regarding immigration.
Yeah, and what is that called?
It's like immigration and border, yo, like immigration and border enforcement.
That's not a policy.
Is it not?
Nope.
Oh, wait, no. Remain in Mexico.
That's an executive order. Good for
Oh
you.
my God, you're getting cooked, Parker. You're actually getting cooked.
Do,
Parker, you're actually
do
getting cooked.
you have a third one?
Maybe.
Did you read that one from the chat? Because it's
No.
not one he influenced to get passed. It is an executive order, but I'm still giving it to you because I feel super bad for you.
All right, dude.
Can you name a
See,
Can you name a third?
now that I show you that I'm actually knowledgeable, you want to
No,
bring me down.
you said that you are more knowledgeable than me. You can't even mention three policies that Donald Trump
Can
influenced to get
you name
passed.
three policies?
Tax Cuts and Jobs Act,
Oh, I actually know that one.
the First Step Act, Operation Warp Speed. Is that good three?
Sure. But I actually knew all these. I low-key forgot.
Yeah. So you're very
No, I
knowledgeable.
actually, bro, Parker,
Very knowledgeable.
very. And I literally named two regardless.
The second one you named wasn't a policy he influenced to get passed.
Dude.
It was an executive order.
And that doesn't count for whatever
Let
reason.
me ask you this question: what aspect of the immigration process did the Remain in Mexico border policy apply to?
Asylum seekers.
Oh, okay. You do know that. Well, how many branches of
Oh my
government?
God, you're getting cooked, Parker. Actually, just stop.
Wait,
I'm actually cooking you.
how many branches of government are there?
Four. Three, stop. Three, stop.
Oh, he's so much more knowledgeable about politics.
Are you gonna ask me what three branches there are?
You can go ahead and answer. You said four originally.
You want me to tell you four?
Yeah, tell me which ones do you believe exist?
Legislative, executive, judicial, and I don't know. I couldn't make up a fourth one. Dude, let's continue with the debate. All you want to do is spew ad hominems, false information,
What is an ad
and
hominem?
like a personal attack.
No, that's not what an ad hominem is. An ad hominem specifically would be a personal attack in which is the basis of
Oh, here
calling
we go.
someone wrong. So you're calling someone or saying someone is wrong just based upon a personal attack. So it's not
So,
just a
like, if I
personal
called you
insult
stupid,
as a means to say that I was wrong. Yeah,
I don't know. I
instead
feel
of
like that's what you're
providing an
kind of
argument.
doing.
No,
I feel like that's what you're kind of
I
doing.
give reasons to dispute what you say and then I insult you on the top. That's not an ad
No,
hominem because it's just an insult.
dude, literally all you've done is insult me without reason.
Okay, well at least you aren't calling it an ad hominem anymore. But yeah,
That
I am
isn't
doing
an
it with
ad
reason.
hominem.
I am doing it with reason. It's not an ad hom. Insults and ad
It
homs are not the
is,
same. No, it's not.
dude. I just told you you're insulting me without reason.
Do you want to like give me an actual
So
debate argument here, or do you want to like sit here and
I've given
complain?
you an argument.
Yeah, go
All
ahead.
right, fine. I'll give you an argument. Literally everything was better under Trump. And even now, everything still is better under Trump.
Everything was better under Trump, even though we're currently under Trump right now. Now go ahead. Tell me specifically what's better.
Before Biden got in office.
What's better right now? Because Biden, when he left office, unemployment was lower and GDP was increasing at a higher rate.
And that was because of Joe Biden. You seriously believe that?
Yeah, several quarters of real GDP growth to multiple percentage points, and then a 0.3% real GDP decrease under Donald Trump's first quarter. Yeah, that's because of his disastrous trade and tariff policy.
And you don't think Joe Biden, yo, how old is Joe Biden? Wait,
Joe Biden at the end of his administration will be younger than Donald Trump.
don't even say it.
Joe Biden at the end of his administration will be younger than Donald Trump at the end of his administration. You don't like hearing that, do you?
Oh, I thought you were gonna say like Trump is like crazier
What? Of course that's true,
or
but
less functional mentally.
then Biden?
Yeah,
No, but he is less functional than Kamala Harris.
that's not true.
If you're insane if you think that Donald Trump has more cognitive awareness and function than Kamala Harris. You're insane if you think
Yeah,
Donald Trump like that's insane.
dude,
That's an insane
what
position.
is it?
That
Wasn't
it is
Kamala the
actually
same person?
I actually genuinely think it's a more defensible position to argue that Joe Biden is more cognitively aware than Donald Trump comparative to arguing that Donald Trump has more cognitive awareness than Kamala
Parker,
Harris.
just stop.
But I'm serious.
Parker, do you
I
even believe
seriously
the
mean
things you say?
absolutely. I seriously mean that. I would rather defend the position that Joe Biden has more cognitive awareness than Donald Trump than I would defend the position that Kamala Harris has less cognitive awareness than Donald Trump. I would totally rather take the position that Joe Biden has more cognitive awareness than Donald
Why
Trump.
would you say something that ridiculous?
That isn't
Please.
ridiculous. What you just said is
That
ridiculous.
is very ridiculous.
What's ridiculous about it?
Why would you say something like that?
What's ridiculous about it?
Dude, we have Biden falling asleep on
He
stage
never
in
fell
the
asleep
middle of
once. He
speeches.
never fell
Dude,
asleep once.
what?
We have
Why are you lying?
We have Donald Trump sharding on at live debates.
What?
Yeah, Donald Trump
What live debate?
literally sharding at live debates. Not trolling.
What live debate? What live debate?
I'm pretty sure it was either against Kamala Harris or against Donald Trump or against
That is
Joe
not true.
Biden.
I watched
I
the Kamala
actually
Harris
I
one.
did watch it. You can go to my YouTube channel. You can go back and watch the live specifically where I was reacting to this. Yes, he absolutely sharded and you can hear it. You can hear it. You can literally hear the shart.
Dude.
Okay? That's one. Two, we can also point to the very clear idea that Donald Trump was talking about
Are we talking about this?
insane
Wait, are
things.
we talking
Donald
about the
Trump
same sharding?
Donald Trump was specifically right. We can talk about the sharks and batteries that he was talking about. The windmills are causing whales to die in numbers never seen before. He claimed that. What are you talking about? This guy is insane. He said they're eating the cats and dogs.
Is that not true?
No, Haitian immigrants were not eating cats and dogs. Could you provide me any evidence?
No, I was just genuinely asking you, is that not true?
The
Because
fact
it
that
sounded kind of true when he said
the
it.
fact that you don't know and you think that sounds true shows me how deluded you are.
I am deluded. You are the same person who just said that Trump has less cognitive awareness than Biden.
No, that's not what I said. I said it is a more defensible position to argue that Donald Trump has less cognitive awareness than Joe Biden comparative to the view that Kamala Harris has less cognitive awareness than Donald Trump. So your view in saying that Kamala Harris is less cognitively aware than Donald Trump is an incredibly indefensible position. And so far as that I say I would rather take the position that Joe Biden is more cognitively aware than Donald Trump.
That is literally ridiculous, Parker.
Why?
And I don't understand how you don't
Why is it
understand
ridiculous?
how that is ridiculous.
Why?
Because just listening to the things she says, Bidenomics, like it's just like she can't answer questions. Like no. I want a president that I
What was
know.
Donald Trump's answer to what his health care plan was? Talk about can't answer questions. He said concepts of a plan, and we're getting something done here pretty soon. For 9 years. What do you mean she couldn't answer a question? Donald Trump hasn't answered questions the entire time. You didn't give a shit. Okay? And you're comparing that to Donald Trump specifically saying that whales were causing
I don't
windmills
even believe
and
he
that
said that.
windmills were causing whales to die in numbers never seen before. You know what? You know where he said that? He said that specifically as president of the United States, and it's literally on video recording. You can literally watch him say it.
He said what about whales?
There has only been, listen to this, one such whale killed off the coast of South Carolina in the last 50 years. But on the other hand, their windmills are causing whales to die in numbers never seen before. Nobody does anything about that. They're washing up ashore. I saw it this weekend. 3 of them came up. You wouldn't see it once a year. Now they're coming up on a weekly basis.
Do you think windmills are causing whales to die in numbers never seen before? Is that your position?
That has to
No.
be like some type of
No,
inside
that's
joke.
obviously absurd. That's obviously ridiculous.
You want me to be honest?
Yeah.
He was probably joking.
He wasn't. He was totally serious. I'm not trolling. He was totally serious. I know you want to say he was joking. He was totally serious. No joke detected. That was a serious statement. I know you want to tell yourself it's a joke because it's that stupid, but he actually said that.
All right, Parker. He may have said something a little redundant.
What do you mean by redundant?
Not very smart.
Redundant would mean like you hear something over and over again. It's the same thing.
Anyway.
Do you even know what words mean?
Anyway, he may have said something a little stupid.
You might have just said something a little bit stupid.